a billionaire who had everything this world could offer. But then a storm changed everything. His yacht sank. Everyone disappeared. He woke up alone on an island surrounded by dense jungle. Strange voices led him to an ancient cave. Inside the cave, words were written in Arabic. He couldn't read them, but his heart felt every letter. That night, he had a dream. Iqra, read in the name of your Lord. When he woke up, he whispered, "If you are real, show me a sign." And then a miracle happened. This isn't just a story of conversion. It's the awakening of a soul. Watch till the end, and let the light touch your heart. Subscribe now. Deen in Minute, where every story leaves a mark on your soul. The sea had always whispered to Rehan Malik. Even as a child on the coast of Gujarat, the sound of waves crashing against jagged rocks stirred something ancient inside him. But as he grew older, the whispers faded into the background, drowned out by the roar of ambition and the clinking of coins. Rehan had built an empire of trade and shipping, with offices in Dubai, Singapore, and London. By 40, he was a billionaire. But beneath the sharp suits and gleaming watch faces, a void gnawed at him. He had everything, yet he had nothing. The change began with a storm. Rehan was en route from Istanbul to Athens aboard his private yacht, a sleek marvel called the Horizon. Aboard were his business partners and a crew of 15. The skies were clear, the forecast smooth. They laughed over deals and drank champagne beneath the starlit sky. But in the dead of night, the sea rebelled. Waves rose like mountains. Lightning carved the sky in blinding streaks. The yacht shuddered and groaned. Panic replaced laughter. Alarm screamed. Crew members were tossed like rag dolls. Rehan staggered to the deck, drenched, shouting for lifeboats. But the storm was merciless. One bolt struck the mast, splitting it with a sound like the heavens tearing apart. And then blackness. Rehan woke on a rocky shore. Alone. No yacht. No people. Just him, the sound of screaming gulls, and an endless gray ocean. His body ached, his head throbbed, but worse was the silence inside. The fear. He wandered the island for hours. No signal, no signs of civilization, just twisted trees and jagged cliffs. That night, he made a fire with shivering hands and drifted into uneasy sleep. And he dreamt. He stood in a city of glass. Giant skyscrapers reflected fire. People ran, screamed. A black figure stood at the center of it all. Rehan approached him. The figure turned. It was Rehan, but older, burned, hollow-eyed. "You sold your soul for numbers that died with you," the figure rasped. Rehan jolted awake, gasping. The days blurred together. Hunger clawed at him. Once, he found a strange fruit and ate it. That night, his body convulsed with fever. As he lay sweating on the forest floor, hallucinating, he saw them, a row of robed men, all seated in a cave, glowing with soft golden light. One of them beckoned him. Rehan stumbled to his feet the next morning, barely alive. And then he heard it, a voice, faint, rhythmic, echoing through the trees. He followed it, half believing it was madness. Deeper and deeper into the forest, he went until he found it, a cave, carved into a cliffside, hidden by vines. The voice came from within. He stepped inside. Darkness enveloped him. He took one step, then another. Then the voice stopped. He lit his phone flashlight. The walls were covered in calligraphy. Arabic. He didn't understand it, but something about it pulled at his chest. The cave was dry and quiet. He slept there that night. The voice returned in his dreams. This time it was clear. Read, "In the name of your Lord who created." He woke up shaking. Rehan didn't know much about religion. His parents were vaguely spiritual, mostly focused on charity and rituals. He himself had laughed at people who prayed. But now he was desperate. He knelt in the cave, palms raised awkwardly. "If you exist," he whispered, "show me. Please." The wind picked up. Outside, the trees swayed. The fire crackled. And then, a miracle. A man appeared at the cave entrance. Not a hallucination. Flesh and blood. An old fisherman from a nearby village who had come seeking shelter from sudden squall. Rehan collapsed into tears. The man brought him to the mainland, to a tiny coastal town called Sirens. There, a local imam nursed him to health. His name was Yusuf. He had a soft beard and gentlest eyes Rehan had ever seen. Rehan told him everything: the dream, the voice, the calligraphy. Imam Yusuf said, "What you saw was the beginning. Many hearts are locked, but when Allah wills, even the hardest stones break and water flows from them." He gave Rehan a translation of the Quran. Rehan devoured it. Every verse felt like it was written for him, especially the stories of Karen, the arrogant, wealthy man whose treasure was so vast that strong men could barely carry the keys. Allah caused the earth to swallow him. Rehan cried for hours. He gave a shaida in the Masjid of Sirens with trembling lips. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Something inside him broke, and something else healed. He disappeared from the public eye, sold most of his empire, donated hundreds of millions anonymously, used the rest to build schools, orphanages, and water wells in forgotten villages. But the horror wasn't over. One night in Istanbul, while resting at a guest house, he heard the scream of a woman. He rushed out and found a girl convulsing in the hallway, her voice not hers. Her family begged Rehan to pray. He was no scholar, but he recited Ayat al-Kursi, trembling. The girl froze. Eyes rolled back. Then peace. Her father wept. "You have light in you," he said. Rehan was shaken. He went to scholars and learned ruqya. Slowly, a new purpose emerged. Wherever he went, he helped the spiritually tormented. Never for fame, always in secret. Years later, in a small village in Sudan, he felt ill. Doctors found nothing. But Rehan knew his time had come. He asked to be buried in the cave, the one where he heard the voice. When he passed, the villagers carried his body by foot. It took days, but the moment they entered the forest, a scent of musk spread. At the cave, a miracle. Fresh water had begun to seep from the stone, a spring where there had never been one. To this day, people visit the cave of Malik. Some hear whispers, some see dreams, all feel peace. Rehan Malik's journey from billionaire to believer wasn't just a conversion. It was a resurrection, a horror-struck, miracle-soaked return to the essence of existence. And it began with a storm and ended in eternal light. Feeling the chills? This isn't just a story, it's a reminder. Allah guides whom He wills in ways we can never imagine. If you felt your heart move, even a little, don't ignore it. Return to your Lord. Reflect. Repent. Renew your faith. Like, share, and subscribe to Deen in Minute for more true, heart-melting Islamic stories that ignite your soul. New stories daily. Your next awakening might just be one video away.